Okay, so what happens when you're going on in partnerships? You've got a person sort of in front, and what they're doing is they're picking up something about the other person, but not the context and the environment that they're in. So there's a whole range of stuff. And when you're trying to engage with anyone else in some kind of relationship, all they're doing, you're giving out the little bit of stuff and nothing around the context around it, etc. And that's absolutely normal. So what normally happens in this situation? What's the sideshow that's going along here? Hints, we just have to look up and, by and large, we tend to make up a story about it and evaluate the other person and that kind of stuff. So it was wonderful. When I was coming up by train on Tuesday, the guy was running coffee, and so he gave us the first coffee, and it came about 30 minutes after the train had left the station, which is quite, normally they're expecting it just as you arrive. So I hadn't got a coffee just before I got on because I thought, oh, well, I'll give you a cup of coffee within 5 minutes on the train. After about 30 minutes, I'm parching because I had to get up at about 5:30 or whatever in the morning anyhow to get the train and hadn't had anything. So I get my tiny little cup of coffee, and I think, he's been conscientious worrying about the train wobbling in and filled it half full, and then came back. And then sort of 15 minutes later, he was whizzing down the corridor again with the pot of coffee, and he stuck our hand out and said, could you have another coffee? And he just growled at us and whizzed past. So they're really, really clear, absolutely, oh God, service is absolutely terrible, kind of stuff. They don't care, like jobs worth, this kind of stuff. And I assume they were sitting there thinking, arrogant customer, just wants everyone to dance to their attention. When they wandered back, they stopped by, etc., and we started to have a conversation. And he started to say, well, actually, there are normally 5 of them staffing this. There were only 2 there today. The previous shift, the dishwasher had broken down, and they hadn't reported it. So they'd got in there this morning, and then the things was working. He was under an incredible amount of stress, etc. So that ability to shift to, in a sense, a door B stand then, is some sense of curiosity, some sense of possibility. Maybe it wasn't just completely transformed both my experience of it. I seem it actually transformed his day as well to some degree. That it actually was, these weren't hastily customers, then if people knew something around the context, they'd behave differently. But our ability to just leap into the door A and just see one half of the story and not the other half is overwhelmingly powerful in temptation. Intervening differently through a kind of door B type strategy makes a real, real difference to the experience.